probably all thought about that a lot. And because you're all working on projects that are similar audiences, probably like teachers, students, or people in the education community of some sort, you're going to know it's pretty like easy to guess who your audience would be. But just like you have to keep in mind like what are their habits and what are their interests, not just around education, but like how can you speak to them? And just keeping in mind like every time you post or every time you engage, like that's who you're there for.
Hey Susanna, I'm sorry, will you go back to the slide before and reshare that with everybody? Oh, that was a really...
Yeah, so basically on social media, you have 6 different ways that you can be social. You don't have to always be posting like updates about your project. But what you could do is you could listen in on the conversation like surrounding education, or like who are those people that you're interacting with. You just need to like be informed on what that is to take part and how to say. And then you could share, you could reshare what other people are doing, and that would be a form of acknowledgement also, or just like posting updates. And then engaging is really entering into that two-way conversation of really asking people to comment on yours, or you commenting on other people's. And that way, there's more activity and more buzz, and like that's really important on social media. Like, and making sure that like word of mouth is like coming out of it is when it becomes like all the buzz. And then creating and promoting. You want to be promoting, but not all the time. Otherwise, it turns into a form of advertisement, which isn't taking full advantage of the conversation that social media can provide. So keep in mind that there are certain amounts that you can post on different platforms, but essentially you want to post consistently, but not constantly. Like I'm sure you all know someone that is like always posting on Facebook, and you're like, good grief, like this is overwhelming. Yeah. But you want to be consistent so people aren't surprised, or you don't want them to feel overwhelmed or underwhelmed. But just like, for example, like on Facebook, I try, well, depending on the size of your organization, maybe like 3 to 5 times a week on Facebook would probably be appropriate. And if nothing exciting is happening, then like you don't need to like keep posting like 10 times or like 5 times like your max. Like set a minimum and a maximum. But again, like if nothing's happening, you can always engage with something else. Like just remember that just because you're not doing something that week, other people are. That's important to you also. But yeah, and then keep it visual. Like really take advantage of that, because I think there's some stat, I might have had it on another slide, but a tweet gets like 80%, it's 80% more likely to be retweeted if there's something visual along with it, or a link or something like that. And people, it really stands out when you have like this whole news feed like on Facebook, and it's just like status after status. You usually look at the ones that have a picture along with it. So keep it visual, it simplifies, it helps them, it makes the message stronger. So yeah, and then stay true to your voice. That's like very informed by your message also. Like who are you? Like your project or organization, it's going to have a personality. And that's really like how it enters into a conversation, is like you want to act like a person in some way. Like yeah, you want to be professional, but you also want to be approachable. And so having a voice, like a brand voice, is really important. So if you're going to be engaging with parents a lot, like that voice needs to be something that is easy for parents to talk to. So yeah, just stay true to that and don't wander off. Like if your voice is very professional, then don't post like funny pictures that are like weird. It just made you laugh as, like as Susanna, like it made me laugh. But I shouldn't be posting something that personal on Causeway's account if it has nothing to do with what we do or what our voice is like. And then also recruit a social media support group. I think there's something called like the power of 11, where if you get like 11 engagements on a post, then it's more likely to show up in people's news feeds. And so people on your team, they need to know that like every time you post, they are responsible for liking it and sharing it. Otherwise, it's not going to be seen by people. And if you know about other organizations that are doing something similar, or they would like to partner with you, just say, hey, let's like form a like support team and just like make sure that we're always like liking and sharing each other's stuff.
Even for you guys,
yeah,
cohort.
So yeah, exactly. And when you have like an important like message that you just posted on your Facebook account for your project, share it on like our personal Facebook group and say, hey guys, I just posted this. I really love you guys to like support me. And make sure that this is seen by the public because it's crucial for their next steps or something like that. So really, yeah, take advantage of the Facebook group that we have. And yeah, so also consider using Buffer or Hootsuite. They're like a little bit more complicated tools, but if you're super busy and you're like, okay, I know I need to post 5 times this week, but I won't have time throughout the week to keep checking back. You can use these tools that schedule like posts or content. So maybe you wanted to share like a couple articles. You could put that into a little calendar through Buffer and say just share it at a random time this week, and it'll spread it out evenly. So you're not posting.
Automatic?
Yeah, it's automatic, and you can set. I think for Hootsuite you can set a specific time to publish it, and then Buffer you set the day, and I think it chooses what time based on when it would get the most engagements. But yeah, so that's like.
And they're free, right?
They have free versions of both of them. And so again, you don't have to be on all of them. Like it wouldn't make sense for you to be on YouTube if you're not really filming any interesting like videos. And LinkedIn is for the professionals that are like recruiters or like that type of person. And if your parents aren't on LinkedIn, like why would you be there? So most of you are probably going to be using Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, maybe like Tumblr if you're posting more like blog content. But the rest of these, like Pinterest, if you could have like some fun, like cute ideas that are inspirational on there that you can share with parents, but you could just put a link to that in a Facebook group or something. So I'm gonna go into just basically Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and like a little background on both of them. So Facebook, the average demographic is going to be 18 to 55. So it's pretty much, you're going to have the biggest, the most diverse people on Facebook. And the 55 and older demographic is like growing a lot. And Facebook, what differentiates that from the rest of social platforms is that it's more about targeting your audience. Because there is so much information on Facebook, it's really easy for all of that information to get lost in the cloud. And so what you want to do is find like who exactly are the people that want to be following me, and like figure out ways to meet them and like bring up a conversation among the two of you guys.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
That average demographic is unbelievable. That range is.
Yeah, exactly. Facebook is like the most approachable of all social platforms. And so everyone's going to be there. And knowing that it's so diverse, it can be used to your advantage, but it can also slow you down in some ways if you're not actually targeting. And if you're engaging with like a very small segment of that demographic, then it's going to pop up in similar news feeds and in similar circles. And the more overlap you have between people, the more influential your messages are going to be and your organization and reaching those people.
Do you know if, since Facebook has sort of gained a lot of traction, if the younger demographic has fallen off some?
I think they have a little bit. I think sometimes more in like the late nights when people are bored, that's when people are on Facebook. But for most of the time, I think Instagram has popped up and Snapchat.
Yeah.
More.
What age group, when you say younger demographic, what like age group?
I'm sorry.
What age group are you referring to for a younger demographic? Is that like 18 to 25 or like 10 to 18? Or?
Probably more, 18 to 35, that age group. I mean, it's anecdotal for me, because I just hear young people saying, I don't use Facebook anymore. You know, I
I
mean,
think that's partially, I mean, because there is so much on Facebook.
yeah,
It's like, you can't get caught up anymore.
yeah.
It's like.
That's kind of what, that's the
Exactly.
impression that I get. I think when it first started out, you know, like, you know, I'm probably more active on it than my son.
Mhm, yeah.
You know, I think it was one time it was flipped.
Yeah. So that's,
yeah.
I mean, you have to find ways of making sure that people are constantly like engaged with your content.
Hey, I have two questions. I love the remark about overlap. So, say with Full Circle Tap, we have a Facebook page that's closed where we share information, like get there guys, da 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 da. Here's a great article, please read it. And then we have a community page, but our community page, we need to hit more people, but we want to create overlap. What is like the best strategy you know of for creating overlap in the various demographics? Because we have like young UTC students who are going to be great teachers like really soon, and we want them to come and be our teachers. And then we have, or they're already photographers, etc. But at the same time, we want to, without losing them, we want to hit the moms of those kids, of those people. We want to hit the professional set that's doing stand-up shows on the weekend. You know, the day jobbers who are still artists, and that kind of thing. What's the best way? What's a good strategy for creating overlap?
Yeah, it is difficult when you have multiple segments that you're trying to hit, and I think you want to hone those segments to like three different groups max. And like I know like it's really tempting to say we want to hit everyone, but that's like it's difficult. But if you find your key like stakeholders in all three of those demographics, they're like your advocates basically. They're the ones that have social power, and you want to figure out who those people are and try and hit them, and then they're going to be the ones that like help spread the word. And I would say you should come up with, you have to find creative ways to listen and engage, like all 6 of those for each of those segments. Like basically, you have to like come up with an intense strategy for it. And each day of the week have a way that you're going to hit a specific target, and then maybe on one week, like the first week of the month, you're going to be talking to teenagers, and so it's going to be consistent there. And then the second week, you're going to be talking to moms. But again, like tagging people in posts that are those influencers, or resharing articles that other organizations have shared, and then will show up as your organization and others have shared this. And finding ways to like enter into that conversation so that you're included secondhandedly. But it is hard, but not impossible.
Were you did you say you have a closed group and then a community? When you say community group, what do you mean? Like an organization Facebook page?
Yes,
Or
it's our face to the community. Like it's where we post some articles that we share with each other that we think will be like great, you know, fish bait.
But is it a group or is it an organizational profile?
It's an organizational. It's
Like Causeway's Facebook
yeah,
page.
exactly. It's like
Okay.
that. And then our closed group is like, guys, we're meeting here, so we get notifications
Right.
from both. But
Okay.
you have to kind of you have to read, oh, this is from the community page, this is from the closed group. So you know that like, oh, this is gonna be about homework, or this is gonna be about a to-do list, or this is about, hey, be aware that we're doing this in the community, so, you know, we're putting this out to the community. So we divide it that way. Just good.
We've also experimented and had pretty good success with using Slack. You guys?
I was totally about to say that.
So, and I've thought about doing it with you guys on this cohort, but for the more like task-oriented, like get this homework assignment done, Slack works really well. It's like how do you describe Slack?
It's like instant messaging
Yeah, it's
for
like
your
chat.
organization.
Yeah.
But you can post articles in it, and you can post links in it and stuff like that too, so.
Is it a kind of a calendar too?
It has a lot. It's like project management,
Yeah.
group messaging.
But
That's like Trello.
But that's like, it's a younger demographic, and I feel old on Slack, but that's not true. But a lot of companies are starting to use it.
Yeah.
But Slack might be something that's interesting to think about for a
You could try.
day to
I use
day.
Trello, you know, Trello.
It's kind of similar to that. It's more IM messaging feel to it. It's like it has like a constant feed of like, we reply, hey, I'm going to this thing today. Okay, make sure you're there half an hour early. Don't forget the donuts. But then you can also like put in conversation starters of like, do you guys think we should be reaching out to the neighborhood next door more and have a conversation on it? Anyway, you should look into it.
Okay.
As opposed to the Facebook group, unless the Facebook group is really working for you.
It's really about who, you know, what people are willing to work with. Like if somebody falls off, then
Yeah.
that's their choice and then they don't know what's happening. Or,
Yeah.
But as long as everybody's cited in the group, then there's potential for everyone to be on the same page and keep up to speed.
It's just tough to manage both,
Yes,
to manage a group and an organizational profile.
yes.
And the organizational profile, I would think, is more important than the public-facing one. Is more important from a marketing and PR standpoint.
Absolutely.
But then the group one is like your logistical.
Yeah, when class gets started, that becomes very important, but nothing is ever more important than the community profile.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Thank you. Thanks for the suggestion.
Another thing to keep in mind with Facebook is that they're also about making money. Like, they,
Booster post for $10.
it's just, yeah, exactly, but also it is really cheap marketing. And so if you feel like you have an event, like that is like your Causeway event, or maybe there's another part of your project that's super important to get like the most engagement, maybe choose like 2 things. And if you have money in your marketing budget, use it, because you can boost a post for like $5 and you get a lot of engagement. And I think it's definitely worth it. Because Facebook does that on purpose, like they want it to be effective, because it costs nothing for them to boost your post. And also keep in mind that sometimes if you post too many links, they don't show up in people's news feeds because it's sending people outside of Facebook. So things like that, like links, and there might be something else. But reposting, or sending something from like YouTube and sharing it directly onto Facebook sometimes it sends it down to the bottom of the news feed. So
Does Facebook do that?
it does, yeah, because they want to, they want to keep people on Facebook and they want to get money. So
They don't wanna
like,
share the choice.
you can still share links, but just don't overdo it. But yes, so things that you should share on Facebook are pictures of your process. That's always really interesting to keep people updated on what you're doing. Post with an image, even if it's just like an announcement about something, just find some relevant image to put it up there. It doesn't have to be of what you're announcing.
Pictures of puppies.
Yeah, people love those. Links to well-known sources, because name recognition is really important. If you're posting from an organization that does something very similar, people are like, oh, like, I know what that organization is doing, so I kind of believe more in the mission of, whatever you're working on. And then also posts that have a call to action or that ask a question. People want to like be invited to like enter into that conversation or be told to do something. Otherwise, they're going to be really okay. Yeah, cool. And then post with relevant people tagged. Like I always try and find ways to tag people or organizations in like posts like for Causeway, because they're going to see it, they're going to like it, it's going to bump up onto people's news feeds, and then bring in all of their friends and expand the circle. And again, it's a great way to promote an event, so consider paid advertisements.
Also, if you tag someone, even like, so if you tag me in a photo in the Causeway post, even if I don't like it, it shows up on my feed.
Mm-hmm.
So you're automatically getting expanding your reach by just tagging people, even if they don't like take the time to like it.
Yeah.
You're doing all the work.
Yeah. Just find any way you can to link yourself to someone else or another organization. That's really important. And people use Facebook on their laptops, mobile devices, at home, at work, and on the go, like literally all the time. And so that's important to remember, like when people are using it, and in what medium, like laptops and mobile devices. Like both of those, like the overlap is great, and so you don't have to worry about like, oh, this like video, no one will watch it, because they watch videos of both of those. And then, so the most important times to post are from 12 to 1 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday, and then 1 to 4 p.m. Monday through Friday. You're gonna get the most engagements during those times. Because less people are posting and more people are reading. And then, again, maybe a suggested number for you guys would be like 3 to 5 times a week, 5 if it's a really busy week, but 3 if you're just getting started. Twitter. I personally have a hard time with Twitter. It seems like a lot of energy and a waste of time, but it really depends on like what your organization is doing, and it can be really impactful. But it's mostly about like joining a conversation rather than promoting. And so you want to be like replying to people and like thanking them, and just like, it's way more casual and short. You only have 140 characters. And that's shortened if you put a picture or a link in there. So it's even less, just like quick little here and there, like staying up in the conversation. And the fastest growing, so right now it's like 18 to 29-year-olds that usually use it. Usually more educated people. 55 to 65 is a growing demographic. But it's mostly,
More educated people use Twitter than.
they do, yeah.
I hate it. It seems
Yeah.
so silly, but it's quite effective.
Yeah. And again, it's
If you do it, it's one of those things that it only works if you do it a lot.
Uh-huh.
It's an investment.
Yeah. Like there's some weeks where I spend a lot of time on Twitter, and it actually like we get a lot of likes on our Twitter account or followers, but you do have to stay consistent with it. It's a great way to share just like news articles though, like if you're reading something interesting, just put it up there. Because if you do that too much on Facebook, it's gonna flood your feed, and people are gonna go to your page and like try and figure out updates, but you're only posting news links, it's gonna be distracting. But on Twitter, it's just kind of like, no one's gonna catch up on everything you're posting. They're just gonna look at the top like 3 most recent ones. So if people see you as a source of like information about other things, then they're gonna like go to your Twitter. And so it's also about using hashtags and broadening your audience that way. So like each post should maybe have like 1 to 2 hashtags.
But I like to use just 15.
Yeah, 15 is like those are the words.
Also, one thing we learned in marketing class at UTC is that if you want to get a lot of followers real quick, if you just pick someone and be really, really mean, and just engage in the back and forth, then there you go.
You have a lot of friends, huh?
But he's friends when you have followers.
So Twitter is used on laptops, mobile devices, at home, at work again, usually during downtime, like when you're on a work break or on a commute. You're just sitting in your car and you're really bored, so then you resort to Twitter and you're just like, I'm just gonna scroll through and see what's happening. So 12 to 3 p.m., Monday through Friday is a great time, as well as 5 to 6 on Wednesdays. Randomly, Wednesdays are a really popular time across all platforms to be posting, so.
I gotta post hump day.
Yeah, there we go. So again, post as much as you want. No one's really gonna notice if it's too much. There's no such thing as too much actually on Twitter. But Instagram, this is their new pretty logo, if you don't recognize it. Their average demographic is 18 to 29, so it's pretty young. The fastest growing demographic is everything. Everyone wants to see pictures, that's what it's there for. Beautiful images that tell your story. So it's a really great platform for storytelling, which is especially important for like nonprofits and causes, projects that you guys are working on, because it's really going to help communicate your message and connect with people emotionally. And using images to do that is like so powerful. And so I would say like it's really important for you guys to be on Instagram for that reason. And so you'll share photos of your process, just like on Facebook, but also pictures with like relevant quotes on top, because they're really effective sometimes. And just like inspirational announcements, just with like some sort of relevant picture, and then captions. You can use links in Instagram, but you can't put a link directly in that caption. You have to put it in your bio, and it's more, you can use it every once in a while, but people usually don't go to your bio to click on the link. But yeah, so if you're promoting your like event, then yes, I would put the link in the bio of your Instagram account. But other than that, I would just stay away from it. And then lightly edited photos. It used to be that you would put really heavily edited photos on Instagram and use the filters that they have in the app, but people don't really do that anymore. And all the stats show that if you don't use a filter and maybe like a little bit of bump your contrast up, bump your brightness up just a tad bit, then it's going to have more likes on it. So, mobile devices, anywhere, anytime. So remember that people aren't going to be on their laptops. It's just kind of like on the go. So anytime Monday through Friday, except for like 3 to 4 p.m. Don't really know why. I guess people are posting a lot 3 to 4, but not really like looking. And then, but not on the weekends either, because everyone's busy and like they want to share what they're doing, but they don't have time to look. And then 1 to 2 times per week is probably suggested. Okay, so now it's time to do our worksheets. This, I just want you guys to like sit down and kind of work through it. It's basically going to help you come up with like a strategy, a basic strategy for your project and how you're going to use social media. And then I have a little homework assignment at the bottom. But I wanted to leave plenty of time for you guys to ask me questions. So if you have any now for the group, or I can just like come around and talk to you about how to use like individual accounts or anything like that.
I have a question.
Okay.
There's a way to post on one platform, and it goes from Instagram, you can say share on Facebook and Twitter. Do you advise to do that, or do you advise against that?
No. There's this thing called native posting where you really want to make sure that, like, all of these platforms are so different from the others that you want to make sure that whatever messaging you're using sounds normal and native. And so Twitter, like, you're going to shorten like your sentences and maybe not make complete sense, but people will get the message because it's just like a quick little thing. But on Facebook, you can post longer things like links, albums, things like that. Hashtags not as much. But when you share through, like, there's a feature on Instagram where you can share to Facebook. A lot of times the formatting is weird, or you tag someone in the Instagram post, but it doesn't tag the person on Facebook, and it just has their Instagram like handle or account name. It looks weird. So I would advise, it does take more time to post individually on all of them, but I think